Welcome back to the commentary cave. This is Zastro here with Shadu. In the next match here in our elimination bracket of finals day, we have Hydra Reloaded versus Negative 10. What do they bring, Shadu?
Well, on the negative 10 side, I believe we have seen this setup from them before in the bracket stages. It is an interesting mix of all sorts of different recon ships with Hurricane, Lachesis, Guardian, 2 Curses, a Hugin, a Rapier, 2 Sabers, and a Tramiel. While Hydra Reloaded, wow, it's like I'm looking at Outbreak. This is exactly the setup.
Almost
Outbreak
exact same setup.
brought just two matches ago, pretty much.
More ECM in the tournament with a bizarre mix of stuff from Negative 10. What do you think? Do you think Negative 10 has any chance against this
I
ECM
don't
team?
think Negative 10 is going to have any chance whatsoever in this match. It's a little bit unfortunate to see another ECM team go forward. However, it is an interesting twist on the ECM team with those Rush Tengus mixed in there, and the match is getting underway. We should see these 2 Hydra Tengus rush wildly towards the Negative 10, a mix of every single recon in the game, pretty much.
Yep. And the match is started. Negative 10 is starting to maneuver around the field. Hydra Reloaded has missiles out towards Negative 10. There is the Dramiel from Negative 10 is leading the charge, but everything else is kind of hanging out in the back, not really moving towards him yet.
Looks like the Hydra Rook is taking, Tom Linson is taking the charge towards the Negative 10 team. Of course, it looks like there are some dams coming in from the Negative 10 team, and the Rook wants to get back into range. That Tramiel from Negative 10 is just boldly charging in there, all alone, leaving the rest of his team way behind him. What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe he's insurance frauding, because I think that's about what's going to happen here. He's taking damage fast. He's almost out of armor, and all of these small ships on Hydra Reloaded are shooting at him.
I don't quite understand what he was thinking. He went way out of range of all logistics and just got caught up and is now dying a horrible death.
Well, Mr. Max, I hope you bought platinum insurance on that Dramiel, because that's probably what you're about to be getting.
Having said that, he just inched back into the rep range of that Guardian.
Making liars out of us.
And he got reps just in time. That Guardian, for some reason, is not jammed, even though there are 3 Kitsunes and 2 Rooks on the field from the Hydra Reloaded team.
It's possible. Can you see it? Do they have ECCM running on Negative 10?
Looks like they do have some ECCM certainly running here, at least on some of the ships. It's difficult to say exactly which one of them has ECCM running from my tournament client. What is interesting, though, is once again, Negative Team has called the logistics ship as primary.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that.
What are you thinking?
Mr. Max Dramiel is out now. He is hopefully collecting his platinum insurance. Hydra Reloaded taking very little damage. Apparently, their Basilisk, of all of those ECM ships, the Basilisk is the one that's being shot now. Negative 10 is slowly closing in on the Hydra Reloaded team across the arena.
For some reason, Negative 10 is leaving their Lachesis behind while the rest of the team pulls away. I don't know if this is a pilot error by both the Rapier and the Lachesis, but they are now getting dangerously close to the Hydra Reloaded
that
team.
Lachesis is taking heavy damage on the Negative 10 side. He's out of armor. He's taking structure bleed through. I think he's about to pop. He's not receiving any reps from that Guardian that I can see.
Absolutely. And while the Basilisk, Count Monte Carlo, Garmin himself is taking heavy damage on the Hydra Reloaded, it's just not going to be enough. For some reason, these pilots stayed behind there, allowed themselves to be catched, and caught on by the Hydra Reloaded team, and then that is pretty much game over.
Now, as we've said with these ECM jamming teams, all it takes is a couple of the dominoes to start to fall to create a cascade where all the ECM ships start dying in rapid succession. At this point, we're 3 minutes into the match. Hydra Reloaded hasn't lost a single team. They've already killed 2 of the Negative 10 ships. It's really not looking good for Negative 10 at this point.
Absolutely. While Count Monte Carlo is still being called primary by the Negative 10 team, they're not doing enough damage to drop him in time, I believe. The Curse Mr. Evil now from Negative 10 team is catching is getting primaried by the Hydra Reloaded team, and it doesn't look like the Guardian is getting any reps in there.
And as Negative 10 loses ships and has fewer and fewer on the field, it makes it easier and easier for Hydra Reloaded to keep them all jammed, especially as Hydra Reloaded isn't losing any of their ECM ships at all.
Absolutely. Those Curses are, of course, important ships to keep to either take down or keep jammed by the Hydra Reloaded team, because they can play havoc with those Kitsunes and Rooks by taking all of their cap. If you have no cap, you can't activate an ECM.
That is very true. We're getting to the point where in most of these first bracket matches, somebody or another is bringing ECM. Do you think we're going to see lots of counter ECM with the last few matches of this bracket?
Well, one would have thought that we'd already see it. However, for whatever reason, Negative 10 chose not to field it today, and they are paying a heavy price. This is what you learn with experience in these matches. I don't know if Negative 10 has had too much of an experience in tournaments before, but you would think by now you bring a counter to an ECM team.
Yeah, if you were not paying attention to the forums, there was lots of crying and gnashing of teeth about the ECM teams and how ECM is the dominant force and it can't be beaten. But then there were a couple very convincing defeats where ECM teams were just torn apart in the group stages last week. We thought we had seen the last of the ECM setups. Maybe these teams thought that they wouldn't see any more ECM and just decided not to bring it. I'm not really sure. But now ECM has reappeared, and that's why you read the forums, guys. Read the forums.
Absolutely. Read the forums. Post on the forums. Go
Never
up
stop
there and have a
posting.
look. Never stop posting.
Post forever. Posting is the most
And
important
as
thing you can do.
Negative 10 loses yet another curse, it's going to be easier and easier for the HYDRA Reloaded team to keep that Guardian jammed, which means that they are able to have their way with any of the ships on the Negative 10 side that they like.
Negative 10, losing chips very slowly. HYDRA Reloaded with any ECM team doesn't have a really high amount of DPS, so it's just a slow but sure chewing away of everything else that your opponent has, and that's what we're seeing here. HYDRA Reloaded haven't lost a single ship, no ships even in trouble at all this entire match, keeping Negative 10 completely controlled with jams while they slowly shoot them.
It looks like Corporeal Punisher finally got the message and is boldly charging at these Kitsunes, with immediately took range and kept out of range of everything else, but it's too little too late. This Hugin will go down very quickly as HYDRA Reloaded correctly saw him burning in, and that means, well, you don't want to get him anywhere close to your
and
Kitsunes.
Kaboom!
And
And a glorious shower of space dust. That Hugin is gone. HYDRA Reloaded just cleaning up the field.
Absolutely. This is an interesting setup, though. Why do you think they brought exactly the same setup as Outbreak?
Well, because it's working. It worked great for Outbreak, and I think they probably have decided that nobody's bringing strong ECCM counter teams right now, and if they're not going to bring the counter to it, might as well go with ECM. It worked great in the group stages, unless someone brought the counter to it.
Well, I was more alluding to the point that perhaps these two teams are working very closely together, which, of course, we kind of got some hints in yesterday from our expert Kill2, who said that the deal between Razor and Outbreak was indeed, in fact, brokered by Garmin himself. So,
This is, well, you know, that's EVE online for you.
absolutely. Certain teams play together, share setups together, practice together. Obviously, HYDRA Reloaded and Outbreak team have seen that this Tengu mixed in with heavy ECM does play well at this stage of the tournament.
And
It's a little bit surprising to see, though.
With HYDRA and Outbreak in opposite sides of the bracket, if their collaborations prove successful, they would not meet each other until the final championship match. So this was definitely a good team to choose to collaborate with, and practice with, and theorycraft with, if you're going to choose anyone that was left on this bracket.
Absolutely, and it is really a cleanup duty now for the HYDRA team. They are starting to scramble the Guardian now from the Negative 10 team. We should see that Guardian fall fairly quickly after these Sabers die. A quick death under a missile bombardment, and Guardian will closely follow. Count Mordecaro has now called free fire. Shoot anything you want. He stopped FCing. He's probably leaning back, sipping his margaritas.
Yep, I think he's now grinding up the mint in his mojito, but hopefully not pouring too much rum in it, because they have more matches to come on the rest of this bracket as it unfolds. HYDRA Reloaded will not lose a single ship. It's just a matter of time as these last couple ships explode.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time, though, here. I think Count Monte Carlo, Garmin has decided that he needs to go and grind that mojito right away. I don't know. Maybe he actually stopped shooting himself.
And speaking of mojitos, just want to give a special thank you and shout out to CCP Zinfandel for buying Shadu and myself mojitos the other night. It was much appreciated.
Oh, yes, those were some good mojitos.
Yeah, if there's one thing that they know how to do here in Iceland, it's mix a good drink.
use lots of ice. Eh? It's not like it's in danger of being.
Right. We are in the land of ice.
Interestingly enough, why do you think Michael Bolton chose not to bring a coach into
Yeah,
Iceland?
did you guys know that Michael Bolton, clearly the most responsible of all of the commentators here this week, decided that, it's June. It's June. It's summer. It's warm. I'm going to go to Iceland without a coat. Michael Bolton had to borrow a coat from CCP Sriegs, our lovable helper there in the control room. And he's been wearing Sriegs' coat the entire weekend. That week, I should say.
I don't know. Maybe the name has a clue, dude. Maybe the name has a clue.
Sriegs, do you know where that coat has been? You might want to get that bad boy dry cleaned. I'm just saying. So we see the last -10 ship here, the Guardian. He is almost out of armor and getting shield wrapped.
Garmin decided, he came back from grinding his mojito, decided, I see a ship here, I better rep it.
All right, come on, guys, you won. Are they looting the field now?
I
No,
think
they're
that,
just flying around in
no,
circles.
they are looting the field. Looks like Gavchuk Bunk went in there and looted a Galante Elite Cruiser wreck, and rest of them are trying to loot up as well, get as much of that sweet to loot before the match is over. But come on, guys, really, if you want to take this tournament, you got to go back in there to the back room and start coming up with some setups that aren't copies of Outbreaks.
Yep. Well, Shadu, we've got some time to kill while they, whether or not they decide to kill this last ship. Have you been enjoying your week here?
I
spoke
looks
too
like
soon.
the Guardian was tired of the looting happening and decided to boldly charge out of the arena and was killed by the GMs here for boundary violation. And with that, we are going to pass you back to the studio.